The guy parking a luxury car outside a CAF, wearing branded clothes and holding the latest phone looks like he has everything figured out. People notice him, respect him, maybe even envy him. But what if I told you that the same person goes home stressed, checking bank notifications, worrying about the next credit card bill, and hoping nothing unexpected happens this month? Meanwhile, the guy sitting quietly in the corner with an old phone and simple clothes might have zero debt, real savings, and complete control over his life. This is the strange reality we live in today, where looking rich has become more important than actually being financially secure. Social media has trained us to judge success in seconds, based on what we see, not on what's real, and most of what we see is carefully staged. Nobody posts their loans, their EMIs, their sleepless nights, or the pressure of living beyond their means. We only see the cars, the trips, the clothes, and the lifestyle, and slowly our brain starts believing that this is what success looks like. That belief is dangerous, because once you start chasing appearances, money stops being a tool and turns into a performance. People begin spending not to improve their lives, but to impress people who are barely paying attention. A salary increase doesn't bring peace, it brings a bigger lifestyle. A new credit card doesn't feel like debt, it feels like freedom until the bill arrives. And before you realize it, you're earning more than ever, yet feeling more broke than before. In this video, we're going to break down why so many people look rich, but are actually broke, how this silent trap pulls smart and hardworking people into financial stress, and what real wealth actually looks like when no one is watching. Because the truth is simple but uncomfortable. Looking rich might earn you attention for a moment, but being financially free changes your entire life. Today, looking rich has a very specific meaning. It's not about how much money you actually have, but how expensive your life appears from the outside. A luxury car parked in the driveway, the newest smartphone every year, branded clothes, frequent CAF visits, and vacation photos that scream success. This version of wealth is highly visible, highly shareable, and highly misleading. Social media has turned money into a costume, something you wear to signal status. The problem is, costumes are rented, not owned. Most people don't realize that many of these lifestyles are funded by debt, not income. Credit cards, EMIs, buy now pay later schemes, and personal loans make it incredibly easy to look successful long before you can afford it. And because everyone around you seems to be upgrading their life, staying the same starts to feel like falling behind. What used to be considered luxury has now become normal, and anything less feels like failure. This is how the trap begins. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "What will people think if I don't?" Slowly, the focus shifts from financial stability to social approval. Money stops being about security and starts being about image. And the most dangerous part is that this behavior is socially rewarded. People admire what they see, not what you save. They compliment the car, not the emergency fund. They notice the shoes, not the investments. Over time, the pressure to maintain appearances becomes heavier than the actual cost of the items themselves. You're no longer spending money to enjoy life. You're spending money to defend an image. And once your identity gets tied to looking rich, walking away from that lifestyle feels like losing status, even if it's quietly destroying you. At the core of this behavior is psychology, not stupidity. Most people who fall into the looks rich is broke cycle are not careless. They are emotional. Humans are wired to seek validation, belonging, and respect. When money becomes a shortcut to those feelings, it's easy to abuse it. Social comparison plays a massive role here. Every time you scroll through your phone, you're exposed to highlight reels of other people's lives. Promotions, trips, new cars, fancy dinners. What you don't see are the sacrifices, the stress, or the debt behind those moments. But your brain doesn't care. It only registers one message. Others are doing better than you. That creates pressure. Pressure to keep up, pressure to prove yourself, pressure to avoid feeling left behind. And when that pressure meets easy access to credit, bad decisions feel justified. You tell yourself it's temporary. that you deserve it, that things will improve next month. This is how rational people make irrational financial choices. Another factor is identity. Many people attach their self-worth to how successful they appear. The car becomes proof. The lifestyle becomes evidence. Without it, they feel invisible. So they overspend to protect their ego. The irony is that the more they try to look successful, the more financially fragile they become. One missed paycheck, one medical bill, one emergency, and everything collapses. Stress replaces confidence. Anxiety replaces freedom. Yet from the outside, everything still looks perfect. This is the quiet tragedy of appearance-based wealth. It feels good in public, but heavy in private. And because nobody talks openly about money struggles, everyone thinks they're the only one failing. In reality, millions of people are trapped in the same cycle, silently pretending, silently stressing, silently hoping nothing goes wrong. This is how people go broke while appearing successful. It starts with lifestyle inflation. As income increases, spending increases even faster. A raise doesn't strengthen savings, it upgrades habits. A better phone, a nicer car, more expensive food, and higher monthly commitments. Fixed expenses grow. Flexibility disappears. Then comes debt normalization. Monthly payments feel manageable, so the total cost is ignored. Credit cards stop feeling like borrowed money and start feeling like income. I'll pay it off later becomes a routine thought, but later rarely comes. Next is the absence of protection. No emergency fund, no buffer, no margin for error. Everything works only as long as life stays perfect. And life never does. A job loss, a health issue, or a sudden expense exposes the reality. The person who looked rich now has no options. Assets are missing because money was spent on depreciating things. Savings are missing because spending always came first. This is where stress peaks. Bills pile up. Decisions become reactive. Short-term survival replaces long-term planning. The saddest part is that this situation is completely avoidable. Most people don't fail financially because they earn too little. They fail because they spend too much trying to look like someone they're not. The system encourages this behavior. Advertisements sell status. Social media sells comparison. Credit sells convenience. But none of them deal with consequences. Those are left for you to handle alone. And by the time people realize they're trapped, changing feels painful. Downgrading feels like embarrassment. Simplicity feels like defeat. So they continue the act, even as the pressure grows heavier every month. Real wealth looks very different. And that's why most people miss it. It's quiet. It's boring. It doesn't demand attention. Truly wealthy people don't need to prove anything because their money works for them. Not the other way around. They focus on assets instead of appearances. Cash flow instead of compliments. Stability instead of status. Real wealth is having options. The option to say no to bad work. The option to handle emergencies without panic. The option to sleep peacefully at night. It's driving a paid-off car and not caring what anyone thinks. It's using an old phone because it still works. It's choosing long-term freedom over short-term praise. The biggest difference is mindset. People who look rich spend first and save what's left. People who are actually wealthy save and invest first, then live on the remainder. They delay gratification. They understand that money is a tool, not a trophy. They don't compete with strangers. They don't feel pressure to upgrade their life every year. And because of that, their financial stress stays low while their net worth quietly grows. Society rarely celebrates this kind of discipline because it's not flashy. There's nothing exciting about consistency. But over time, it compounds. And one day, the person who looked average suddenly has complete control over their time and choices. That's real success. Not attention, not likes, not appearances. Freedom. Avoiding the looks rich is broke. Trap requires a mindset shift more than a financial one. You have to decide who you're living for. If your spending decisions are driven by other people's opinions, you will never feel satisfied. There will always be someone richer, newer, better. But if your goal is independence, clarity, and peace, your behavior changes naturally. You start spending below your income, even when you can afford more. You stop upgrading just because others are doing it. You build savings quietly. You invest patiently. You give your future self priority over your present ego. This doesn't mean living a deprived life. It means living an intentional one. Buying things because they add value, not because they add status. Understanding that true confidence comes from security, not symbols. Over time, this approach removes pressure. Emergencies become inconveniences, not disasters. Decisions become calm instead of desperate. And most importantly, your money starts serving you instead of controlling you. The truth most people don't want to hear is this: looking rich is easy. Almost anyone can do it with enough debt. But being financially stable takes discipline, patience, and the courage to be unimpressive for a while. In the long run, the courage pays the highest return. Because when no one is watching, and no one is impressed, real wealth is what allows you to live on your own terms. At the end of the day, looking rich might impress people for a moment, but it doesn't protect you when life gets real. Appearances fade fast, bills don't, and financial stress has a way of showing up when you least expect it. Real wealth is quiet confidence, knowing you are not one emergency away from panic, knowing your future isn't being traded for temporary approval. If this video made you think differently about money, status, or the pressure to keep up, that's a good thing. Awareness is always the first step toward change. And if you want more honest conversations like this, no hype, no fake lifestyles, just real money psychology and practical thinking, make sure you subscribe to Money Uncovered. New videos here break down the truths about wealth most people never talk about. If you found value in this, hit the like button so more people can see it. And share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think people today care more about looking rich or actually being financially free? Thanks for watching Money Uncovered, and I'll see you in the next video.